Oh no, do you know what my first CD was?
What?
First CD I ever owned was the soundtrack to Space Jam.
Can't hate on it.
I got it for Christmas when I was 7 years old. I think I also got Hanson's The Middle of Nowhere that year too.
No judgment.
You better not,
No judgment.
because I'll bop you right upside your head. I would never inflict violence on him.
As you guys may have been picking up so far, my teenage years molded who I am as a music listener. I still venture out every now and again, but for the most part, I had a nickname in high school, and it was Emo Boy Wonder, you know, or that emo kid, or hey, you over there with the hoodie.
Hey, emo kid.
And that's a lot to thanks to my chem and 3 cheers for sweet revenge.
3 beers for sweet revenge.
Yeah.
This is wine though. We're adults now, we drink wine.
And beer. But this album was my soundtrack for like an entire year. And when people talk about having deja vu, or they remember something that didn't particularly happen, they never say, hey, I've seen that music video before. And this is a true story. I don't remember who I was talking to. I feel like that's my cousin Frankie. But the music video, back when MTV played more than one music video per day. I know, crazy. Music, television only plays one music video a day now. It's crazy.
They have to keep up with their name.
Yeah. It will. But got the hiccup. Sorry, gotta bear with me here. It kind of looks like a testicle. But the songs Helena and Give 'Em Hell Kid. What do we got? Do we got Teenagers is on the next album?
Yep.
I'm
Not Okay, I Promise is on that one.
That was going to be the last one I talked about.
Okay.
The Ghosted View. It's not a fashion statement, it's a death wish. Hang 'Em High. All really good songs. And as I was saying about the music video, I very vividly remember either having a dream or seeing the music video for I'm Not Okay, I Promise, a solid 3.5 months before it got dropped on MTV, when MTV was the first place you've seen new music videos. And when that came on, I like panicked and I'm like, I've seen this music video before.
Did you panic at the disco?
Do I need to show you the door? Or? Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Alright. But the emotional levels, like, there's different levels of sadness. It's like peeling an onion. But this album makes you feel the heartbreak and all of its glory. And I wish it's not colored, right?
No.
Yeah, it's not one of the special variants that's colored, but owning this album still means so fucking much to me again, and having it on vinyl means that much more, and I can't wait to wear it out.
Okay, so since we're still on the subject of teen angst, I have here Nirvana, Unplugged in New York. So I was a huge Nirvana fan when we were in high school and a
No,
little
you
bit beyond.
weren't.
No, not at all. Because Kurt Cobain was the voice of angst and whatnot, and I absolutely love Nirvana. Of course, this album is a classic. It actually led me to, I have a collection of Unplugged in New York albums by other bands. I have the Alice in Chains, the Pearl Jam, and the Stone Temple Pilots, which are like the quintessential.
And I'm going to butt in real quick to say that Nirvana is more talented than a lot of people give them credit for, but their unplugged stuff brings a new level of cherishment to their lyrics and their music style. So
Well, and the thing about this is that Kurt Cobain purposely performed songs that weren't their hits or weren't even their own. A lot of it is cover songs, and it became such a classic that you associate those songs. Okay, so Jesus Doesn't Want Me for a Sunbeam, A Man Who Sold the World, Oh Me, Lake of Fire, and Where Do You Sleep Last Night are all covers.
okay, all right.
And everything else on it is, Come As You Are was
You said
popular.
all apologies?
No,
No, I was about to say
No.
Lake of Fire is the cover.
yes,
Who does?
Meat Puppets. They did Oh Me, Plateau, and Lake of Fire's all the Meat Puppets. And he actually had the members of the Meat Puppets come out and perform with them at Unplugged, if you watch the DVD.
No shit.
Yeah. And I
Cool.
actually have the DVD. He bought it for me when we were like 19 years old for Christmas. So, but this, of course, anybody who is a Nirvana fan, this is the one that you wear out. I listened to this over and over again and wore the CD out many times.
Lake of Fire and Penny Royalty are, and this staple of on this album, I should say. Those two songs, as well as all the rest, because they're all stunning. Because Kurt Cobain, fuck the haters, had a really, really tremendous voice, and he shows that on this album. And those two songs really get you vibing.
Yep. And the fact that, this was made right before, Kurt Cobain committed suicide, sadly, or was killed, no matter what you believe on the subject.
The
But
latter.
this was only a couple months before that happened. So, it kind of makes it extra special because you have that, kind of last hurrah from him. So this particular vinyl we have here is a 2013 reissue. Again, just on black vinyl. A lot of mine are boring. But it does come on a beautiful red one that I would love to have someday. But yeah, so that's Nirvana's Unplugged in New York.
If you ever get the chance, check out this album in its entirety, because it is a really truly special album. And being on vinyl, you get that raw, uncut sound, and it's very special.
Yes. Not only Nirvana's Unplugged, but also give Pearl Jam's Unplugged.
STPs.
Stone Temple Pilots is amazing. Alice in Chains.
Who's the lead singer there for STP? Isn't it
Scott Weiland.
Scott? Yeah, that's what I thought. And
The one when he's in the rocking chair. If you've ever seen it,
and it was before drugs destroyed his vocal cords.
Yeah.
Because he still had a lot of range back then.
Yep. And Alice in Chains is Unplugged. That was one of the last public performances they ever did with Lane Stanley. He was, and it was actually, I think, 4 or 5 years before he passed away. But, his last couple of years, he was very reclusive because of drugs. So it's also a very special performance, and I definitely suggest checking it out.
We're very open here and honest about mental illness and the drug usage. We don't condone drug usage at all. If you think you have a problem, you obviously need to seek some sort of professional help.
Yep.
But we're very open with both of those topics because I suffered from drug abuse issues for quite a while. I'm fucking 10,000 leagues above where I was just a few years ago. And we both suffer from our own mental illnesses. So we're always going to be free to talk about both of those subjects because we both have experience in those. And either our own experiences or people that are very close to us,
Yes.
their experiences. And I'm always, I'm will always be an open ear, judgment free to anybody who ever needs to reach out to somebody about any sort of mental issues, mental illness issues, or drug use issues. So, you know, that's why we are so free to talk about it and so open about it. And it doesn't seem to bother us. It's not because we don't see it as an issue. It's because
We've lived it.
we've lived it and we're comfortable discussing it in an open, honest, judgment-free environment. And that's what I hope people come to learn and love about us. You know, that we're compassionate, judgment-free people.
Yep. And I will also leave you with this quote on mental illness. That mental illness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And, you know, that just means that it's not your fault, but you need to own it and find your own help for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever that comes. I totally understand. I fought treatment for mine for a long time. And I have to cite that quote from Mr. Marcus Parks from last podcast on the left, which I love.
And remember, giving up doesn't, it might end your, it doesn't end your grief, it just passes on to somebody else. So
Yes.
suicide is not the answer, even though it may look like the only answer. Hold on hope. Because I promise you, I fucking promise you, no matter what the fuck you've done, somebody out there loves you. So,
And it gets better.
with that being said, we're going to move into this album was introduced to me thanks to, I want to say America, was it America Wasteland, Tony Hawk's?
Yeah.
American Wasteland. And the song that was on there was
Invincible.
Invincible, and the band is Thrice. The album is Visio, or however you want to pronounce that. But I bought this album on a whim back in the mid-early 2000s. To be precise, it was 2005 when this got released. That doesn't feel real to me. I just heard the sound of the Invincible and how fast-paced, upcoming it was, and I jumped for it and found out that I bought one of the most meaningful albums that would ever grace my experience as a human being. And we got the image of the Invincible, you know, the earth will shake, between the end and where we lie, are all fantastic songs. What else we got on here? Like Moss to Flames was a really good one, and Red Sky was a really good one, and this album spoke to me at a very complicated time in my life where, you know, everything that I tried to do seemed to want to just not work out for me, and oh, that hurts. Sorry. This album was pressed on clear vinyl, just that nice glass clear. It kind of looks like it has a blue tint on the screen there, but there you go. That's what it should look like. It doesn't have a blue tint to it. It's just that stonewall clear glass look. And some of the people that are in our record group, they're on Facebook.
Michigan Record Club.
who, some of those guys have records that I'm just truly awe-stricken by. Awe-stricken by. They're jealous of this album, and that makes me so very happy. I'm not I'm not a rub it in your face type of guy, but I rubbed it in their face, and I'm sorry. I want to say it was Jesse and a couple other guys on there. Still learning on you guys, and you know everything. But this album changed who I was once again. All music has changed me or shaped me in some sense. So.
And that's the beautiful part about music. It does. Like, it was actually very hard for me to narrow down to 10 albums. I had a list, my original list was like 20 albums long.
I was about to say, I was getting quite depressed with myself because I didn't grab any of that artist right there.
Yep.
I didn't grab any of my punk,
Yeah.
Travis Barker, Mark Hoppus, or Tom DeLonge trio combinations. But what do we have next?
Okay, so my next one, I'm really getting into the classic rock, and by classic rock, I mean what was classic when classic rock was classic rock.
Now I feel like this would be classified as a goldie.
Like, oldies.
Like a goldie.
Yeah. So this is Aerosmith's live bootleg.
Don't breathe on it too much. We don't want it to turn to dust.
Yes. So this was another album that my mom had, and I believe she only had this on CD after she discovered CDs. But we wore this shit out. Like, we listened to this all the time. You know, it has the songs like Dream On, Walk This Way, like back when they were new songs. What other songs? Back in the Saddle, Sick as a Dog, Mama Kin, you know.
Mama Kin.
Last Child, their cover of
word.
Come Together. Like when they first did it live, Sweet Emotion, Toys in the Attic.
You sure this isn't the greatest hits?
No, it's alive.
I know.
Yeah, I know. But my actual favorite is, it's two songs, but they kind of roll into one as you're listening to the album. It's I Ain't Got You, Mother Popcorn. Mother Popcorn is actually a song by James Brown. And, you know, back in the day, especially, Aerosmith was more into like a jazzy feel when they first started out. So it's the mix of those two songs together, it's awesome. And I don't know, I always really enjoyed it. And the version I have has a little bit of a skip on Mother Popcorn, which is depressing, but those are probably my two favorite songs on here, other than the version of Sweet Emotion that's on here, which is just phenomenal. It's like early Aerosmith before Steven Tyler got into a lot of his higher range stuff, like a little bit of it, but not as much as you see like in their newer stuff, like 80s, 80s and beyond.
Yeah.
So this is an original 1978 pressing that we have here from Pittman Pressing. You know, it's got a little scratches and dings, but it's still in pretty good shape overall.
It's 15 years older than me.
And we're 32 years old, so yeah, it's a couple years old. So yeah, that's Aerosmith live bootleg, and I just want to point out, Aerosmith is actually the reason that Eric and I kind of became friends when we were in junior high, because we were really the only kids who vocally listened to classic rock. And Aerosmith is the band that really brought us together. And we saw them. Eric's mom got us tickets for his 18th birthday, and we saw them.
To step away from some of my teenage moments and to step into adulthood, and this is to talk a little bit more about comes into a little bit more of the drug use conversation, but This band came through to me when I was at a darker moment, because I was going through a lot of early alcohol abuse moments and learning who I was. But this Lateralis by Tool, and I'm gonna bring the whole booklet up here because this booklet is sick. got a holographic cover, sparkly, and it continues on to the inside where it's just dope as fuck. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I'm actually going to show you all 4 of these LPs, or both LPs, all 4 sides. But this album has the songs like Parabola, Schism, Parabola.
Parabola. Parable and
Yeah, Parable and Parabola. You're correct. So it's a picture disc. I don't know why. I hate the lighting in here.
Oh, the lighting.
But you can kind of see. There we go. There we go. There you go. You guys can see it there. Oh, and there's the other side. Alright. Okay. Here's the second LP. I showed you guys the first 2.
Oh, the first 2 sides.
The first 2 sides. The second 2 sides are just as sick. Got that for the one side. And then look at that for the 4th side. Isn't that sick? Oh, I love this. This album, I seen it. This is in the heyday of when we were really going just balls to the wall, ordering vinyls, like with Reckless Abandonment.
We got a little crazy there for a while.
And the reason this album even means anything to me in the first place is Guitar Hero. And
Oh, yeah. The 3rd one.
yeah, and that's kind of why I bought it. And I'd seen this album. Oh, that's really heavy. I've seen this album on a couple of different sites for a bundle, and I'm like, man, that would be a really cool album to own, but I'm not about to spend that type of money. Hint, hint on my next record. But I found this. I came across this album. I want to say it was either on eBay or the Sound of Vinyl.
I think it was Sound of Vinyl.
I think that's right.
It
And
wasn't eBay, I know that.
I seen it going for upwards of like $100 easy. And that was the original pressing. This is a repress. But it's still a repress of the picture disc, not just of the black one. Which the represses were going for, at the moment I found it, upwards of $35, $40, and I got it for $20. And I seen that and I couldn't pass it up, and it's Tool. I mean, come on. One of the greatest bands to ever exist and play instruments is right here. And their shit's so deep, so entrancing. They make you, they're one of the reasons why I believe in different alternate realities and shit like that, is because of a band like Tool. So, big shout out to them, big shout out to this album, and big shout out to the game Guitar Hero for introducing me to so many great artists that it's really depressing that that game franchise had to try to change so much that they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I'm a big video gamer. She's a big video gamer, so a lot of our stories might tie somehow into video games, especially when it comes to Guitar Hero.
And Rock Band.
Yeah, Rock Band. I'll just say Guitar Hero because
It was the one that started it.
When I say Guitar Hero, I'm kind of linking Rock Band into it because that was the developers of Rock Band came from Guitar Hero, so Rock Band was just a glammed up Guitar Hero. So
It was Guitar Hero with added steps.
Tool, Lateralis, Shiny,
And I just
still
want to,
Shiny.
and I point out that one of my honorable mentions was Tool's Anima album. We also have that on a cool picture disc, which we'll have to show you sometime. But that album, I really love that album, especially the song Anima, because I believe as time goes on, that song just gets more and more true. So, yeah. Are you fixing it? Or what?
Just making sure it wasn't flexing too much more. Because with that album, that album leaned back real
Yeah.
hard, and I'm like, golly, I'm gonna hold. 'Cause I'm not gonna put my pride and joy on this. It's gonna give out on us. We need to invest in a new now spinning. I like, for a moment, I like to stack things up in there, and it gave up.
It broke a little.
Yeah, it gave up on me.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep on the vein of the classics. I here am going to talk about Zeppelin. Zeppelin 4, for all of those who know, or Untitled, So, depending on what you want to call it. It technically does not have a title, but that's what it's known as within, the community. So this, of course, any classic rock fan, especially any Zeppelin fans, you know that this is the quintessential Zeppelin fan. This is when they were moving a little bit more away from, they did a lot of, like blues covers back in the day. And this was them really coming into their own with writing their own music. Stairway to Heaven is on this album. And so it's really, when it comes to Zeppelin's really well-known hits, middle of the road Zeppelin, it wasn't the early years, not the late years. This is when they really hit their stride. And anyone who knows me, Zeppelin is my favorite band. So to have, yes, I have the Zoso on my arm there. They are my favorite band of all time, and this album is just, this is what you introduce people to Zeppelin with. It's got Black Dog, like I said, Stairway to Heaven. Got a lot of the hits on it.
Was Over the Hills on this one?
Yes.
No, see, that's where you get me. As my favorite Zeppelin song, a lot of people love Stairway to Heaven or, Cashmere, but Over the Hills and Far Away, you don't get much better of a feel-good song than that.
Yeah. Actually, it's not on there, but it's okay. Because we have the one that it's on.
Yeah.
But Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain, Going to California When the Levee Breaks. Those are, the main songs that are on there. When you want to introduce somebody to Zeppelin, that's the album that you play. Ours is a original 1971 recross. It's in exquisite condition for its age and the price we paid for it. Got a couple dings on the cover, but we'll take it for the
Can we get
playability
this
quality.
from?
Yes, from RPM Records in Traverse City,
Traverse
Michigan.
City, yep.
Yep. So yeah, the Zeppelin 4.
Talking about how dangerous this thing is.
I know.
All right. So, kept with the theme. I guess I didn't really have too much of a theme, but this last album, that'll get edited out. This last album came out. This is the newest album in the whole review, and this musician suffered from mental illness and drug use issues, and tragically lost his life in, I believe, 2019.
December 2019.
Hands down, one of the most talented rappers to ever do things he did at the age he did. And I'm a huge Tupac and Eminem fan, so with that being said, I give you Legends Never Die by the one and only Juice WRLD, and I've learned to deal and cope with my depression and shit like that as I've grown older. But listening to Juice WRLD's music took me back to 2005 when I was a sad teenager. Took me back to 2012 when I was getting drunk obnoxiously, almost at an irresponsible rate. And then his flow, his lyric style, his delivery is unlike really any other rapper out there. And this album was made by his producer after he had passed away tragically of the seizure there in the Chicago airport, which still is kind of questionable whether, because he wanted to fake his death and pull a Tupac, you know. And this album has the songs like Conversations, Titanic, literally fucking hits me every time. Bad Energy. Fucking get out of here with Bad Energy, like I love it. Hate the Other Side, and Come and Go with Marshmello. Fighting Demons, Wishing Wells, Up and Away. Then there's a skit on this that has fucking Lil Dicky, Eminem. I want to say Royce the 5'9" is on there. I'm pretty sure Tucci's on there. But they're pretty much just talking about how he's the best freestylist to ever do it. And if Lil Dicky and Eminem, honest to God, say somebody is the best freestylist or even give them kudos as freestyling, that says something, because Lil Dicky and Eminem, you alright?
Yeah, I'm just about to sneeze.
Alright. Lil Dicky and Eminem are hands down two of the greatest white freestylists that have come up through the channels. And to say something about a 22-year-old who passed away really gives him the title of Man of the Year. And this album was my most expensive purchase. I bought it off of a third-party site, and I was nervous the entire time, to say the least. I was kind of giving Nikki attitude to try to find out when this album was coming in. She didn't know anything more than I knew, so. And I could have bought it straight up day one on black, but I seen the variants and I knew that I needed this album on this beautiful, beautiful purple, goddamn fucking lighting. I tell you, you can't even, you can kind of tell there.
There it is.
There it is. Beautiful purple, almost magenta. And sound is phenomenal. I'm glad I purchased it from where I did, because I didn't pay what fucking the money hole of eBay wanted for it. And this album will probably be getting played now after this video is concluded, excuse me. But rest in peace, Juice WRLD.
Okay, so for my last album, again, I'm sticking in the vein of the classics. I've chosen Pink Floyd's The Wall. Another, album that I grew up on, Pink Floyd, was that band. They weren't they weren't like the other bands, and especially in my experimental phase as a teenager and young adult, this was where I went with my experimentation, we'll say. But you know, The Wall is it's a story from start to finish, and you know, they made a movie about it in the 80s.
I still haven't seen it.
I have it.
I know, we need to watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But you know, they made the movie.
We have the soundtrack to the movie, or is that?
That's this.
I
There it is.
I called it.
So, Pink Floyd's The Wall. This was an album that I heard a lot growing up, and a lot of depressive phases, and when I had, you know, my experimental phases as a teenager and young adult. This is, you know, kind of the soundtrack to that for me. It's from front to back, it's its own story, and you know, in the 80s they made a movie about it, starring Bob Geldof as Pink. It's a trippy movie, but you know, this is just one of those. It just really tells a story about somebody's life, and somebody's life who's dealing with a lot, who's dealt with a lot through their lives. So, the pressing here that we have is a 1979 original pressing. It actually has the sticker on the front.
Bless you. Again.
Okay, I'm normal. So.
That's what you want to call it.
Yeah. So it's a 1979 original pressing on black, and it has the sticker. It's it's a blank cover, just the bricks, until you put the sticker on it, which comes in the fold if you have it, like if you buy it new. And the interesting part of the pressing we have is that this was one of the original ones that still has a lot of David Gilmour was credited a lot on it, and in later pressings it's mostly credited to Roger Waters because of, you know, the discord that happened within the band and, you know, things like that. So this is actually a very special copy to have. So yeah, just one of those things that really just takes me back and means a lot to me. And so that's Pink Floyd's The Wall.
And that will conclude our 10 most meaningful albums that we currently own to each of us, as well as some of them still meant so much to one another. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. There will be many more both record-inspired videos, possibly gaming reviewing videos, traveling videos. We got a lot of ideas coming forth, and got a lot of influence from other people that we like to watch and listen to in podcasts and in videos. So this is video number 1. And I couldn't think anybody else better to do it with, and I can't wait to see what else we come up with.
It's gonna be a lot of fun stuff.
I would cheers you, babe, but ting. Have a wonderful night, and remember, always choose love over hate.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We appreciate it.
Peace.